I just had the most amazing moment. I'm in the Lake District at the moment. So I did a big hike at the weekend yesterday, a 7 mile, not 7 mile, 7 hours over, I think it was 10 miles. It was a long way anyway. Anyway, so I'm here in the Lake District in the UK, which is so lovely. And I thought I'll stay on because I was really tired yesterday and get some work done. So I'm away in this little cottage that I found on Airbnb. And I've just literally just come back from a walk. So I got here last night because I finished the hike last night and it was really late, dark. And I literally got straight to bed and went to sleep. And then I got up this morning and I've just gone for a walk to try and find a shop so I could get some food in. And as I was walking through the little town that I'm in, I walked past this guy who was sat on the floor. The sun is shining, people milling around everywhere. And there's this guy on the floor painting on a barrel. And I just stopped for a moment and watched him, and he was he had a smile, but then he was in concentration mode. And it was just such a moment where I thought, oh my gosh, look at him. He's kind of in his zone and just watching every mark he was making on this barrel and was enjoying the process. And it was a lovely moment and the sun was shining. And I thought, you know what, this is what it feels to be alive. I know this might sound a bit intense, but it really was a moment anyway. So it was very apt because that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about how more than ever we need art right now. And I know you might say, Michelle, you say this all the time because I do. To me, there's never a better time than now to make art. There's never a better time than today. So that being said, though, I really do think with everything that we have experienced in the last 2 years has been a whirlwind, has created so much fear and anxiety and thrown our lives upside down beyond recognition, made us question ourselves, question where do I want to live actually, and who do I want to be, and who do I want to continue talking to, and all these things. It's made us really evaluate our lives. And now we're facing terrible, terrible things happening in the world. And it's, again, in a lot of people, causing so much fear, so much questioning around the pain that other people are experiencing and the helplessness and why is this happening and what should I do about this? And oh my gosh, there's always so many things going on in the world that make us feel this way, but it's so heightened at the moment. And it's really got me thinking in the last couple of weeks about these feelings that we're all feeling, and maybe we're all feeling them in different ways, but we're all being impacted in some way. And it got me really thinking in the last week about how myself and seeing my friends and other people in my community, in our community, and how world events and everything happening in the world right now is affecting everyone differently. And what I've really noticed is, for some people, when we have these big things going on in the world that really test us and challenge us and just throw us completely, sometimes people find their voice through these times. For some people, it really makes them go, this is not right, and this is, I believe this, and they go out and they become a beacon of light, and they help people see what others need to do to help. And it really sometimes just spurs some people on to take some kind of action. And then for some people, you know, for those people, it helps them find their voice, I guess, or not find their voice, but use their voice. But for some people, these events that have happened over the last 2 years and what are happening right now as we're speaking, which is just awful to think, isn't it? Is some people lose their voice. And it was something that I was speaking to Sharon about last week because, you know, she was saying, I feel like I should be going on marches and I feel like I should be doing this and I feel like I should be doing more and I feel so helpless. And I was thinking about myself and how I react when things like this happen. And I have a tendency to go into my shell, which is ironic because I'm called Michelle. I do have a shell. And I often, when things are really scary, I feel like I lose my voice and I retreat into my shell because I actually don't know how to help or how to process what's going on. Maybe there's a little bit of a trigger inside of me because it's triggering some trauma that's happened in my life before. I know when I've spoken to friends who are in Estonia and, well, you know, and other places where they've had to deal with real big conflict in their countries and fighting, and what's happening right now can be a real trigger for people, as it brings back so many memories and things that have happened in their family. And so what I was thinking is and I wanted to share this today because I just wonder whether there are people here listening who maybe retreat into their shell, and that can then lead to possibly feeling like you're not doing enough or you're not facing this that's going on. And I just wanted to share that I think that's normal and it doesn't mean that you don't care. And I think it's a real time now as well to recognize this in people, that sometimes people retreat into their shells and it's not that they don't care, it's because they really struggle with how to deal with these things. And so the way I imagine it is like I peek my head out of the shell. You know, I've gone in there and I'm kind of hiding away from everything, and then I peek my head out of the shell and it's still all going on and nothing's changed. And then I see other people and amongst my friends who are doing amazing things. And I realize that if you just do one small amazing thing, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? You know, if we all do something. And so what I was thinking was, during these times, no matter how you react, whether you go into your shell, whether it gives you a voice, but especially if you retreat into your shell and you find things like this really difficult, art honestly is just super powerful during these times of pain, during times of challenge, during times of overwhelm, during times of fear, helplessness. Art is so powerful and we underestimate it. And I think sometimes we block the art making too, because I've heard lots of people recently saying, right now I feel guilty making art. I feel like it's a luxury that some people just don't have. I can't make it because I feel so guilty. And some people, taking us away now from the situation that's going on, some people just are getting blocked because of the overwhelm, not knowing where to start, because they don't feel good enough, because their art isn't selling, because it costs to buy materials. There's all these things that then block people from making art. And I'm getting really fired up about this recently, which is why I'm hosting the Your Art Matters event in April. It starts on the 4th of April, to encourage people to embrace this side of themselves, this artistic side, no matter what age stage, because there is so much power that comes from art making. And I'm going to go into why now, but there was this amazing quote that I saw over the weekend that came from Marisa Cummings, and she said, "Please keep making and sharing your art. It is a necessity, not a luxury. The world needs you and the gifts that you share." And this is so, so true, because we saw this within our community. A lot of our community rallied together and started to create sunflower drawings, paintings, collage, to show support about, in relation to what is happening in the Ukraine. And what comes from this art making together was twofold, or maybe manyfold. One is the process of actually being in that moment, creating that sunflower. The process of being mindful. More than ever, we need mindful acts, whether that's knitting, sewing, creating, drawing. When I sat today, I didn't sit, I was walking past the guy sitting today, painting on a barrel. It was such an amazing moment just to see him just sat there with the sun shining on him, painting on a barrel, watching him being in the moment, present right now. You could see there was no worries on his mind. There was no stress. He was literally just sat there painting on this barrel. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just wanted to take a photograph of him, because we need more moments like that in our lives. Those times where we quieten the chatter. And that's for our mental health. And that is a necessity. It's part of us. It helps us understand. But then is the act of sharing that. So our group coming together, creating the sunflowers. When we have this community coming together, all contributing towards the same thing, it makes people feel part of something. So that artwork all coming together and people making that together makes people feel, even if that isn't going anywhere, part of something. That's a really important feeling, to feel part of something, to feel connected with other people through art. We might underestimate these feelings, but we shouldn't, because they're so powerful to our purpose as a human being and our well-being. And then the other part of this is then the artwork going out into the world. Even if it touches one person, that artwork and showing that artwork and sharing that artwork can have an impact on someone else and make them feel that they're not alone. It gives people hope. These sunflowers that everyone's creating gives people hope, a reminder that there's something else other than what is going on right now. And so, never underestimate the power that art has on yourself and others as well, because it can often feel like a selfish act, a part of you that is wasting money or wasting time. But when you really get to the core of making art and what this is doing for you, for others, there's another great quote here that I want to share with you, that came from Paul Klein. And it's, in showing them me, they see themselves. I love this quote, because in you showing yourself through your artwork, when other people see your artwork, it does enable others to see themselves, to maybe process an emotion that they didn't know they were feeling. Have you ever had that? We often, I think we lose sight of what art is and the power it can have. And I've seen it in so many people where they've seen an artwork and they've bought it because it has given them hope. They're going through some time. Now, to you, that artwork might not feel like anything because you just painted it. It was a window and you just painted it, and it didn't really, you just did it because it was in your moment and it distracted your mind. But for someone else, that can be that beacon of light, that hope, that thing that is going to remind that person to keep getting up out of bed every day. Even if you didn't make the art with that intention, that is the power that your artwork can have on others. It can be as the sunflower that can represent so many things for someone else, that can trigger so many emotions and so much healing in somebody else. And that's the part of the art making process that we've got to keep in touch with, being present and bringing that back to ourselves. And for me, I make art to understand as well, and I think your art can do that as well. It can transport people, it can distract people. Somebody might have your artwork because it just distracts them from everything that's going on. I'm talking now about this mindfulness. Sometimes we need distractions. We're getting in our own heads a lot recently, and because there's so much going on in the world. But when you're making your art as well, you can understand more about yourself and what's going on. It can really help process feelings. My art definitely does this when I'm going through challenging times, and like now, I will turn to the creative process to release what I'm holding inside of me and get out of my head. Whether that's doodling, whether it's writing, whether it's just painting something that you see right now. It just starts to, when it really does, doesn't it? Or I don't know whether this is for you, but when you start to really process this, it comes out and you start to understand why you're feeling the way you do. That's how I feel anyway when I'm making my art. And so going back to these intrinsic reasons that we make, the joy, the mindfulness, the power that your art could have on one other person in the world. There's another great quote here as well, and this is from the great David Bowie, and he says in this quote, "All my big mistakes are when I try to second guess or please an audience. My work is always stronger when I get very selfish about it." And I found that quote this morning, and I like this quote because sometimes people feel that when they're being selfish in their art making, the art making was all about me. I just did this to get out of my own head today, or I just saw something fly past and I decided to just draw it in that moment. Or you can then devalue that process, devalue the value that it might have on someone else, or devalue the process as a whole, or just dismiss it then as this crap piece that I just made because it was all about me. But actually, like David Bowie says, when you do make it from that place that's about you and how you're feeling and you're in that moment, you make stronger work, you understand more about yourself, you have more of an impact on other people because you're maybe making other people question. And so another one as well from David Bowie was, "It's terribly dangerous," which this is the same kind of thing. It's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. They produce their worst work when they do that. And I love that too. And there was I was reading a lot about David Bowie this morning, and there was another one where he was saying that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs for him have been where he's done something, I can't remember the exact words now that he used, but he just did something out of the norm, or really released a feeling in some way that he's been repressing because of other people's expectations or what you think that you should be doing. And not only is that a big release for you internally, but produced or taken him in a direction where he's gone, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I really wanted to share this today. I'm getting fired up about all of this at the moment, about the guilt around producing art and not, really not seeing the value in what you're making. And this is why I want to really throw everything at the Your Art Matters event in April, which you can sign up for. There's a link above. And to bring us together as a group during that week to really, really connect again with ourselves and enjoying the art making process and valuing the work that we're doing. It doesn't matter what reason, really using art making as this intrinsic, really tapping into those feelings that are inside of you and enjoying it and celebrating art and all sharing our art together. And that's what I want for the Your Art Matters week. So I'm on a mission over the next few weeks to really get us tapping into that and being, I don't want to say vulnerable, but being brave as well with our creativity, not holding it back because we're scared of upsetting someone else or someone else not liking what we're doing or us not liking what we're doing. Releasing what is in there because it needs to get out through art. It's a healer, it really is. And it's time to just let it out in whatever form and being really open to that during Your Art Matters week. And, if anything, it will give you that big release and bringing you back to that moment that we all need right now. I know that I do. I need to be more mindful, more in the moment. So yes, thank you. Anyway, I just got really in the zone then. And after this session, I've been meditating this morning. I've been bringing myself back, grounding myself. I felt ungrounded. I felt myself, my head getting, so I've been really conscious today of just grounding myself, meditating, and I'm going to be doing some doodling and just some automatic writing. I'm just going to write today and just see what comes out. Have a go. Try that maybe. Just sit today. Whatever way you like to pour out, whether that's a doodle, whether it's poetry, whether it's just writing, just have a go today and just sit with a book and just don't think, just do. There was a great piece of advice from one of the books that I was reading recently, and I can't remember who it was, so I can't quote them, that said that when you're doing this automatic release of whether it's writing, drawing, if you don't know what to do, just start writing. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And eventually you'll get bored of that and you'll say something different. But it's just processing emotions without thinking, without an output, just pouring out. So that's it. That's my deep thinking for this week. And I can't wait to do the Your Art Matters event with you all. I'm really excited. Let me just say in a recap what that will be. So each day we will release a brief art challenge, and we'll all be doing that together. And the whole theme of Your Art Matters this time is to celebrate. We're starting with the quote, art is, and it's celebrating all art forms, all art in different types. And we want you to feel by the end of that week that you're connected back to yourself again. What I've been saying here today, connected back to the process of making for you and being mindful and enjoying it, and then coming together as a big group, all of us coming together as a big group to celebrate the arts, celebrate ourselves, our own creativity, because we're all unique. And we'll all do that together. So I can't wait. It starts on the 4th. It will run till the 8th. I've also got a big announcement to make as well during the event, something that we've been working on behind the scenes. So that's exciting too. But that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have the most amazing week, and I'll catch you all soon. But let me just check the comments before I go. Oh, Sadie, she said it's 10 p.m. I'm in bed, but I really wanted to hear this. Oh, nice to have you here. Oh, Colin, happy Monday. It's bright and mild. Yeah, I'm in Kendal in the Lake District, and it's really nice and sunny here. The place that I'm staying, it's just got a little glimpse of the sun, the sky above. Oh gosh, hello everyone. Oh, thank you, Paula. Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm just seeing all the messages. Oh, you're in the Cotswolds, Helen. Hey, Leah. Oh, no. Yeah, we've all been struck with COVID as well. Yeah, nice to have you here, Leah. Nice to see you. Hi, Melanie. Let me just see. Lots of love. Hibernating every year around this time. Chris Cordelia. Nice to see you, Cordelia. How are you? Oh, this is a good one from Melanie. So Cordelia was saying about hibernating, and then Melanie says, yeah, but then I feel guilty for worrying about the things in my life. But I just think it goes back to that thing about going back in your shell. And I just don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if you feel the need to hibernate, like I do, I sometimes have to retreat into my shell. That's okay. And there's things going on, but sometimes you've just got to be kind to yourself. And I'm saying this to everyone now who maybe feels this way, because I think the worst thing that you can do is be this type of person. I am this type of person. I retreat into my shell. And I sometimes worry, like, oh my gosh, I should be doing something. But if we start down that road of the guilt, and then, that's when it really then affects everything, our life, and that heaviness and the mental chatter in our brain saying you should do this, you should do that. And I think what I've just come to the conclusion this week is accepting that that's okay. I go in my shell, and these things are still happening. The things on my to-do list are still there. But that's the kind of person I am. I have to sometimes just step back, and that's okay. So I hope that helps, Melanie. Oh no, everyone's coming down with it. I hope you get better soon, everyone who's feeling unwell. My kids have come down with it as well. Hey, Laura, nice to see you. Making art rises our personal vibration, and that helps to rise vibration of others. Beautifully said. Yes, we do good when we make art. Absolutely. I love that. I love that conversation around vibration as well, because there is a vibration around art. There absolutely is. Oh, that's good. Hey, Mike, that's good. Been lucky because there's been more workshops available. Wonderful. Yeah, it's that feeling of connection, isn't it? Yeah, Beth, and this is another thing. Yeah, just when you create an artwork to sell, and this is the thing, when you start selling, it's great, but it can also then remove us then from what it is that we actually really want to make, because we get sidetracked with what sells. And yeah, and I've been doing the same. And then so when I listened to that David Bowie quote today, and he reminded me that sometimes you've got to do what's in you, not to please other people, and you've got to just do that. That's why we're here. That's why we exist. And so getting back to that core of that passion, because that's what then people see in your artwork. Yeah, it's a fine line. It's maybe something I'll talk about in the Hub membership when we do Review Plan Do next week. Oh, love this. Michelle said this. Look, I had a bad day, and then I sat down, started drawing, and I found peace. Yes. Yeah, Cordelia says, yeah, I've been creating and it's crap. So have I. Everything that I've written in the last month has been rubbish. But that's just the creative process. And I think, again, it goes back to just being kind to yourself. Everything that I have produced this month, I know it's not the right stuff, but it's almost like you can't get to the really good stuff unless you go through that. It's really difficult to just create a masterpiece. People don't just create a masterpiece, do they? Sharon will tell you this. When she's created a piece that is worth, a lot of money, and she's like, yes, this is amazing. There were a lot of pieces that went into that one piece, before it, that you don't get to see. There was loads of trial and error and things going wrong and things falling over and things falling apart and blowing up in the kiln. And that piece just didn't come out of her overnight. And then and I know this with my process as well. Everything that I'm producing is rubbish right now, but I know that I've got to produce this rubbish to get to the good stuff that's in me. And I know it's there, but I can't just flick the switch and produce all the good stuff. So it's trusting that it's a process. It's definitely a process. But like David said, I don't believe in rubbish art, and anything can be rubbish. And I think it does that's a good point to make as well. But I think I have an idea in my head and it's not there yet. And so I know that I just don't think there's any other way to get there. You've got to produce that stuff that isn't right first, and then you get to the other side. So I'm just laughing at David's comments in the chat. Yeah, we should have a laugh as well during your Art Matters week. I think we should. I think it's time for us to have a bit of a laugh. Yeah. Maybe I'll get my kids to maybe throw cream at me. TJ says, I disagree with David. Steve McQueen made art out of elephant crap. I love your musings. But then why did he do that though? Because he wanted to. Let me just see. Yeah, he is. Oh my gosh, jam-packed full. Yeah, absolutely. His quotes are amazing. Let me just see if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, no me, no you, just do. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, Christopher Lee, yeah, he paints with dung as well. Oh, I love this, Jodie. Yeah, so much going on in life. Art is something that I'm grateful for, even when I'm having trouble showing up for it. Yeah. And when creativity isn't flowing how I'm expecting to. I know it's still teaching me about myself and living this life. Yes. Yeah, well said. Yeah, this is ironic thing as well, isn't there? With we know it can help us, but sometimes it's such a block. So that's what we want to get through in your Art Matters week. Yeah, for Hub members, there's no Thursday session this week. I have to go. I've just had an appointment come up that I can't get out of for my son's diagnosis, so I've had to cancel this week's Thursday session. But I will make it up to you all, I promise. Yes, Lucia, it can be, absolutely. Hey, Edward, I've been feeling the usual issues. I'm not going in the right direction. Feeling of creative optimism, excitement starts to seep away. Point of it all, I'm technically unemployed, so I feel I should be doing other things. Yeah, when you're in that situation, when you've got other factors weighing you down, then you do start to question everything. I've been there, and I'm there now, even still now with stuff, it's just different. When I was unemployed and I had no cash coming in, I was worried about the direction. Now I can pay myself. I still have concerns and worries. They don't go away. Um, they're just different. And yeah, they're still all there. I thought it would fix everything, but it doesn't. And it's really interesting because I was speaking to people in a group that I'm in, and they all bring in so much money. And sometimes people think that bringing in all the money is going to help, and it doesn't. They've still got all the same problems, all the same fears, all the same issues, probably just more. So I think, yeah, it goes back to trusting the process, but as much as possible. Edward, my advice for you, I don't know if you want advice, I just can't help myself. When you're feeling like that, the one thing that I do, and this is what I did this morning, I visualize letting the heaviness go. I visualize that, and I visualize the life that I'm heading towards, or the way I want to feel. And I imagine that, honestly, it helps me so much. I mean, I did an hour, no, not quite an hour this morning, but usually I just do 10 minutes. But I felt like I needed a big session this morning because I was in my own head this morning. I felt quite stressed out when I woke up. Felt there was a lot of stuff on my shoulders. There's a lot of things going on in my life right now that and in the world as well, that is weighing, and I was feeling it this morning. So just had to it can be really tricky sometimes though, just to put things into perspective and just be mindful, go for a walk, and always just knowing that there's a solution. There's always a solution to everything. Yeah. Oh, look at you all. So lovely. What a lovely group. Oh yeah, it was Crucifili. Yeah. Yeah, try it. If you're feeling heavy, try it. Yeah, and I recommend some just focusing on your breath as well, even if it just for a few minutes can really help as well. Oh, yeah, like David says here, I've had to learn to detach myself. Some people have to do that. It's a coping mechanism, and there is nothing wrong with that. I don't think, that's my opinion, because of course it's good to help others. Yes, absolutely. But we've got to you've got to be okay first and foremost, haven't you? And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see Joanne asking about the table legs. That was with Steve McDermott. Yeah, we'll get the link for you. Yeah. Oh, look at this. So I remember, Michelle, when you said about visualizing about where you could live, and I decided on a lighthouse, but I live in Nottingham and I saw an old police station, and that inspired me. That's lovely. That is lovely. Oh, Rosie, congratulations. That's amazing. Well done. Well done. Yeah, that's lovely. Right, okay, I'm gonna head now and wade through my snag list that I have today. And yeah, anyway, it's lovely to be here with you all as usual. And if you want to join us for the Art Matters event and have a whole week of inspiration and fun, we'll think of some things that we can do that are going to be funny. Then yes, please sign up. And I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.